another video on the whiskey posset. So, whiskey and honey and lemon doesn't work. Let's try it with orange. So, 250 millilitres worth of orange, which is double the amount of lemon juice, because orange isn't as acidic as lemon. So what we need to do is we need to concentrate the acidity of the oranges. That will also concentrate the flavour of the oranges as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up to a boil, and I'm going to slowly heat it. No, not heat it, but I'm slowly going to evaporate off the excess liquid, which will concentrate the flavours. Pretty straightforward. We don't want to do it too fast. We don't want the flames licking up the side of the pan, because that will burn the outside of the orange juice, which we don't want. We don't want a burnt orange flavour to the posset, although that might work, a burnt orange kind of flavour. That's kind of quite interesting. That won't be a video. I've made too many videos already on possets, and I think there's only one more I want to do after this. So we're going to juice that down, and then we're going to concentrate it. And because we're going to add whiskey, and we're not going to heat the whiskey, we need to add the amount of whiskey that we would have had of juice. So when I made this is getting complicated. So when I made the orange possets before, I took double the quantity. I took 240 millilitres of orange juice, reduced it down by half, and then used that to make the possets. Because we're adding another liquid to it, we couldn't add any more liquid to the posset. It would be too soft. So we need to concentrate the flavour and acidity of the orange, so we can add liquid in the form of whiskey. And then I'm going to put honey in as well. So how much honey is it going to be? It's going to be 150 millilitres of whiskey and it's going to be 120 millilitres of whiskey and 150 millilitres of honey. Yes, honey. 150 millilitres, 150 grams of honey, and then it's 600 millilitres of cream, which is at the back. There's no point boiling the cream just yet, and then we're going to so simmer the cream bring up to boil, and then simmer it for 5 minutes, and then we'll combine everything together. So I'm waffling instead of just getting on with it. So we'll just let that reduce down. When we're at that stage, then we'll add the honey to that, and we'll reduce it even more, just to drive off that excess moisture. But I think this one will work, and I think it'd be nicer. I still ate the whiskey and lemon one. I wasn't going to let it go to waste, not at all. But anyway, I think this one will be nicer, because the old-fashioned cocktail is a whiskey cocktail, and it has in a little bit of sweetness and orange zest as well. So it should work. Right, so the cream is coming up to the boil at the back, so we just need to turn that down so it simmers for 5 minutes, and the orange juice has got to that stage. I don't want to take it any further. There's a danger that it will burn. So I'm going to have to do this off camera, because my scales don't. The chopping board isn't flat, so I don't want to miscalculate. So I've got some honey. It's just cheap stuff, because we're only playing around. So I want 150 grams worth of honey. So we'll add the honey to the orange juice. Don't want to be too careful. Don't want to be too exaggerate with this. So 150 grams. Oh, on the nose. Then bring that back up to temperature, and drive out any more liquid that's going to come out of the orange juice, and also there'll be a little bit of liquid that we can evaporate off in the honey as well, just to make it a little bit more concentrated. Sorry, I'm just sorting out the honey off camera. What's it like for that? Nice honey. Yeah, there's a bit of a thing about fake honey That some places are selling fake honey, it's not real honey, and some of the more expensive honeys are expensive honey cut with like a sugar syrup, or like fake honey. In the UK, the Food Standards Agency is pretty rigid about labelling. So, in my eye, if it says it's honey, then it's honey. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world. I think the rest of the world's a little bit sketchy, if I'm honest, when it comes to labelling. But in the UK, and certainly a lot in Europe as well, they're very good at proper labelling. So, ooh, need to have that on for 4 minutes. So it's been on for about a minute, bubbling. So we'll just have it on. We'll just set the timer for 4 minutes, and we'll kind of see how we go. I'm gonna have to. No, that's fine. So we'll just do that. That's okay. They can be bubbling for the same amount of time. I need some zest as well before I forget. So, and I've just got, it's just cheap whiskey I'm going to use. So, because we're cooking, there's no point using the good stuff, and I like to drink the good stuff. I certainly don't want to put it in something that I'm just faffing around with. So, I'll do some zest. We'll kind of combine. I'll get some containers, and then I'll weigh out some whiskey, and then we'll be ready to combine and see what happens. Alright. That was in danger of just slightly burning. I didn't want to add a caramel flavour to the Possets. So, the cream has now stopped, so we can turn the cream off. Give that a bit of a stir. Have I got all my implements that I need? Nearly. Everything prepared and all that. So that's that. Those are those. We've got the whiskey. Yeah, heating the whiskey slightly won't really matter. It'll just probably stop the cream from curdling. So which way do we want to do it? Let's do it that way. So that's that. Give that a proper swish round so we'll melt. So everything's combined, and if there's any honey and orange residue on the pan, we'll collect all that. Seems like quite a lot of liquid, but we'll be okay, I'm sure. It does seem like a lot of liquid. It'll be fine. It worked before. It's set before, so I can't see why it won't set this time. So that's that. Out of the way, and then just the juice, the zest of one orange. There's probably about 3 oranges worth of juice in this posset. But it depends how big and how juicy your oranges are, doesn't it? That's that. Have we got a clean measuring jug? Have I used them for everything else? No, I've used them for everything else. Damn. I'll have to wing it. I haven't got enough containers. Oh, I have. That's okay. Okay, so the ramekins are being used elsewhere, so we're using old cream pots, which is fine. We're going to get used for something else, but it doesn't matter. Like that. How are my pouring skills? We'll find out. About how much. No, my pouring skills are rubbish. Don't know if that's curdled at the bottom. That's not what we wanted. Keep an eye on that one. Right, so we'll let those cool, and then we'll put them in the fridge, and and then we'll see what they're like in the morning after they've set. But let's have a taste now. It looks like they're going to set because it's gone thick there. That's much nicer. That's much nicer than the lemon one already. I have high hopes. Right, it's set. It's set pretty well, and that's because we reduced off the excess liquid from the oranges. So it's all right, isn't it? Looks all right. It's nice. It's just, I don't think alcohol probably lends itself to a posset. I think it's not. The orange certainly works better than the lemon. I think a orange and honey, or a lemon and honey would work particularly well. I'm not entirely sure that the whiskey is a good idea. That's not to say that you couldn't take something that wasn't as alcoholic. Well, you could use Bailey's and set like a Bailey's cream type of thing, which I might have a go at. Same kind of process, you know. Don't know what you'd use with Bailey's. Probably orange again. Probably Bailey's and orange. Probably. It's nice. It works. It's not great. I wouldn't. I'd eat it, but I wouldn't order another one. Like, I'd never make it again. And I'd never make it for friends. I'd never make it for customers. Just not my type of thing. But it might be someone else's type of thing. I just don't think it 100% works as opposed to the other Possets that I've made.